all of you must have seen such kind of ads, especially in India and Pakistan, that 100% visa guaranteed, this job offer, that job offer, this much salary we are offering you, free air tickets, free accommodation. So you must have seen all these kinds of ads nearby you. But please, it's a humble request, don't fall for such traps. Most of these, I don't say all, maybe some are genuine, but most of these, 90% of these are fake job offers just to take your hard-earned money. And most of people like who contact me, they have lost their hard-earned money to such traps. And yes, those of you who are watching my video for the first time, I am Neha Bhalla, a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, licensed, authorized to help you on your legal matters related to Canadian immigration. And this is our firm, SAMS Global Immigration, which deals in all kinds of immigration matters. So without wasting any time, let's start with today's video. And yes, do watch till end to know whether you can work in Canada or not. And if you can work in Canada, do you require a work permit for that or not? And if a work permit is required, then what kind of work permit is required as per your situation? So most of the people who want to work in Canada needs a work permit to work in Canada, right? But work permit varies depending upon situation to situation. So you may be eligible for either an open work permit or a closed work permit. So these are the basic two kinds of work permits, open work permit and a closed work permit. So first, let's talk about what is the open work permit. So open work permit basically allows you to work for any employer in Canada. So you are not bound by a particular employer that you have to work for ABC employer only. No. So you are on an open work permit, means you can go ahead and work with any employer. But this kind of work permit you get only in certain specific situations only. And the second is the closed work permit, or also known as an employer specific work permit. Why employer specific? Because unlike open work permit where you can work for any employer, this type of work permit, an employer specific work permit, you have to work with that particular employer only. You cannot change your employer. So your work permit would have certain conditions on it. So if you see a work permit, at last there are certain conditions attached. So you have to follow those conditions, which mentions the particular name of that particular employer, that you are bound to work for that particular employer only. And there would be other conditions also, like for how long you can work, right? The duration of your work permit. Then also there could be certain conditions like you can work in a particular location only, maybe with a particular employer, but at a particular location also. So there could be certain conditions attached to your work permit. So now let me take you to the canada.ca website and explore a tool which helps you to know whether you need a work permit to work inside Canada or not, and if you need that, which kind of work permit you need, and are there any specific instructions which you need to follow. So this is a very good tool which would, whether you belong to any occupation, any field, any situation, it will help you clarify your doubts and will help you know whether you need a work permit or not, and if needed, what kind of work permit is needed. So this is the tool which I'm talking about. You have to answer a few questions and then it tells you what kind of work permit suits you. So suppose you are the main applicant, no other family member in Canada. You press next. No, you are not a Ukrainian national. Then choose the option that describes you. So no, you are not applying for PR, not refugee, so other, and next. So no, you doesn't belong, no, and then next. Okay, so choose the option that describes you. If your occupation falls in this category, it's fine. Otherwise, you press other type of work. Okay, so this shows that you need a work permit, and that too a closed work permit, employer specific work permit, that is LMIA based work permit. So what is LMIA, we'll discuss in detail in this video only. Now next, see another scenario when your partner, your spouse is working inside Canada or studying in Canada. So your partner is there working or studying in Canada. So yes, you might be eligible for a work permit and an open work permit in this situation, right? Now, after we have explored this tool, now you are aware like which kind of work permit will be the best suitable for you as per your situation. Now, let me tell you something more about closed work permits and open work permits. First, talking about closed work permits. So either they are LMIA based or LMIA exempt, or it may be ICT. ICT is for intra-company transferees. Now, talking about the LMIA based work permit, this is applicable in most of the situations. Suppose you call us and you say, I need a work permit, I need to work in Canada, right? So then we ask you a question whether you have a spouse who is already inside Canada, working in Canada, or studying in Canada. If the answer is no, no spouse working in Canada or studying in Canada, and you are the only main applicant on the basis of which the whole family wants to come to Canada, right? You are the main applicant applying for a work permit. So in this case, what you need is an LMIA based work permit, which means first you need a job offer from an employer. So the main thing is that first you need a job offer basically, and that job offer is not a normal job offer but an LMIA based job offer. So to obtain this job offer, whether this process can be done inside Canada or outside Canada, this is the main question of the applicants who call us. So to tell you that this can be done inside Canada also or outside Canada also. So suppose first you apply the visit visa for a Canada. So you apply the Canadian visit visa, you come to Canada, and then when you explore opportunities, sometimes some employer is willing to give you a job offer, an LMIA based job offer. Then inside Canada, due to a temporary policy in place, you can apply for a work permit from within Canada, from inside Canada. Else, if you like go to job banks, you have a good opportunity, you find some LMIA based job offers and an employer is willing to give you an offer, LMIA based job offer, then you can apply for the work permit from outside Canada. So no need for a first applying for a visit visa coming to Canada. You can simply start your process sitting outside Canada from your home country. But yes, for that you should have an LMIA based job offer. Now, the biggest confusion, what is LMIA? LMIA kya hai? First of all, remember that LMIA is an employer-driven process. Nothing to be done by you in this case. For LMIA, everything is to be done by the employer. So, employer, it goes to an agency which is known as the ESDC. So, it goes to ESDC. It says to ESDC that, it wants to hire a person who has particular kind of qualifications, education or experience, whatever is applicable as per that job. And he says that to ESDC that he tried to find such kind of an employee from within Canada. He tried to find through the citizens, through permanent resident, but could not find such an employee. That's why it wants to hire an employee from outside Canada. That means any person who is a temporary resident inside Canada, basically a foreign worker. He wants to hire someone who is not a Canadian citizen or a PR. For this, it needs an approval of the ESDC. So when ESDC gives an approval, yes, go ahead, you can hire a temporary foreign worker from outside Canada. So then in that case, it approves the LMIA. And also keep this in mind that for this LMIA process, the $1,000 government fee is there, which employer has to pay to the ESDC, and he cannot charge this $1,000 from you. So it is to be borne by the employer and not the employee. You must have seen many fake job offers asking for a lot of money, but ideally the employer is not allowed to charge anything from the employee for this. In fact, he has to pay $1,000 government fees to the ESDC for getting the LMIA approval. So once LMIA is approved, the next step is that he can hire an employee, and that too after applying the work permit. So first LMIA gets approved, then work permit application comes in the picture. So remember, you don't need to apply the LMIA. It is the employer who will apply the LMIA, and after that comes the work permit process for the applicant. Then there are some LMIA exempt work permits also. See, so for some particular positions, for some particular jobs, government has said, RCIC has said that they do not require any LMIA approvals. Those employers can simply go ahead and hire the employees. No LMIA is required. So what other situations are those? Are some international agreements which are in place. The second is the intra-company transferees. ICT, that is the intra-company transferees. What happens is, suppose you are working for a tech company, they're mostly tech companies, it could be others also, but what I have seen in my experience with most of my clients are mostly tech companies like HCL, TCS. So such employers, they generally transfers their employees from India or Pakistan branch to the Canadian branch. So they come here as on ICT work permit, that is the intra-company transferees. They come here, and for them work permit which is issued is without LMIA. So they are basically LMIA exempt. So if your company has a branch inside Canada, they can transfer you. There are a few other situations also, like for religious workers, some charity workers, and also some scholars, PhD scholars. So there are some exceptions. There's a complete list. So there are certain exemptions. For all these jobs, LMIA is not required. But to be honest, for most of the jobs, LMIA is required. So if you need a work permit, if you want to work in Canada, then yes, you need to first get a job offer which should be LMIA based. So that was all about the closed work permit if you were the main applicant. Now the second option is an open work permit, which is a very good work permit. Why? Because there is no restriction to work with a specific employer. You can go ahead and work with any employer, but that is issued in specific situations only. So one of the situation is that your spouse should be inside Canada and either working can be like on a closed work permit, that is employer specific work permit, or else your spouse could be studying, right? So if your spouse is studying in an institution, a designated learning institution, and has a study permit, then in that case you can apply for a spousal open work permit. And also the other situation is, suppose your spouse is on first on a study permit, and after study permit your spouse obtained a postgraduate work permit, right? So your spouse is on a work permit, is working inside Canada on an open work permit, because postgraduate work permit is also a kind of open work permit where your spouse could work for any employer. So in that case, your spouse is working in Canada on a postgraduate work permit. In that situation also, you can go ahead and apply for your open work permit. So it's a very good opportunity, but only for those whose spouse is working inside Canada or studying inside Canada. And yes, you can apply for an open work permit, and also you can take your kids along with you. So I've made a complete video on that situation where people get confused that kids going in such situations, they should apply for a visit visa or a study permit. Like they can also study in Canada or not in such a situation. So I made a complete video for that. You can go ahead and see that video also. But yes, your kids, your children can also accompany you. So you will be working for an employer on an open work permit. Your spouse is already studying or working in Canada. Your kids can also move to Canada. So it's basically a very good opportunity for the complete family. I hope many of your doubts regarding work permit has been cleared now, because many of the people are not aware about the basic thing, like how they can work in Canada. So this video was basically meant to clarify your doubts regarding how you can work in your Canada, that you need a work permit to work in Canada, right? You cannot work without that. So I hope my video was helpful to you. Yes, if you want to learn more about such immigration topics and be updated with what's happening in the Canadian immigration, then please go ahead and like my video and subscribe my channel, as I do come out with more such videos to help you with your Canadian immigration journey.